Attention passionate Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Pittsburgh Steelers' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Pittsburgh Steelers fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Let's get to the news. Now folks, if you're like me, you've been watching the Steelers closely all offseason, and you know how critical the safety position is for this team. It might not be as flashy as the quarterback or the wide receivers, but make no mistake, having that solid presence in the back end can be the difference between a deep playoff run and an early exit. And right now, the Steelers are looking for that third safety to bolster their defense, especially after losing Damontae Kazee, whose contract expired this past offseason. Kazee had been a reliable veteran presence, but with his departure, the team's depth chart at safety is a bit thin, and the coaching staff is clearly looking for someone who can step in and bring stability and experience. What's really interesting is that the Steelers have a couple of key players ahead of this position: Minkah Fitzpatrick, who's undoubtedly one of the best safeties in the league, and Deshaun Elliott, who showed a lot of promise when healthy. But behind them, the depth isn't quite where it needs to be. The team needs someone versatile, someone who can step in and contribute without missing a beat. That's why the name of Marcus Williams has been floating around in NFL circles as a potential target for Pittsburgh, and honestly, it makes a lot of sense. You see, Williams is a player with an intriguing story. He's only 28 years old, which in NFL terms means he's still in his prime, and despite last season's struggles, he has a resume that excites many scouts and analysts. He was once one of the highest-paid safeties in the league, inked by the Baltimore Ravens in 2022 on a 5-year, $70 million deal. That's right, $70 million for a safety. That's a clear indication of how highly he was valued, especially considering the Ravens' confidence in him to be a cornerstone of their defense. But as we all know, football is a sport of ups and downs, and sometimes a player's trajectory takes an unexpected turn. Last season, Marcus Williams faced some challenges that affected his performance. He was benched during the 2024 season, primarily due to struggles in coverage. The numbers tell part of the story. According to Pro Football Reference, he allowed a staggering 148.4 passer rating when targeted, which is well above his career average. For context, over his first 6 seasons, Williams allowed only a 52 passer rating in coverage, which is excellent. So what went wrong? Well, the 2024 season was a perfect storm of issues: injuries, scheme mismatches, possibly some loss of confidence, and certainly the increased pressure that comes with high expectations. But let's not forget, at 28, players often bounce back from setbacks, especially those with his talent and experience. And here's the kicker: despite last year's downturn, Williams is still considered one of the best free agents available on the market. That's because his previous body of work is impressive, with 20 career interceptions, including some game-changing plays in the past. He's a player who can do a lot for a defense, cover, run support, and leadership. Plus, teams are always willing to take a chance on a player with his upside, especially when the price tag isn't astronomical after a down season. Some analysts, including Jeff Kerr from CBS Sports, have pointed out that Williams is still remarkably young and could be a steal for teams willing to give him a second chance. Kerr mentioned that last season was a disaster, as he failed to record an interception and allowed a 115.6 passer rating when targeted in 11 games, but he also noted that with the right scheme and coaching, Williams could regain his form. The NFL is full of stories where players reinvent themselves. Look at what players like Jalen Ramsey and Xavier Rhodes have done after tough seasons. So why not Marcus Williams? Especially considering the Steelers' defensive scheme, which often relies heavily on versatile safeties who can read plays, support the run, and cover deep threats. Now, the Steelers have a history of taking chances on players who have had their setbacks, but still possess the talent to succeed. Think about it, players like Minkah Fitzpatrick, who was a first-round pick, had his share of ups and downs before becoming a star. The coaching staff, led by head coach Mike Tomlin and defensive coordinator Terrell Austin, are known for their ability to develop players and get the best out of them. They understand that sometimes, a change of scenery and a fresh start can do wonders for a player. Williams, with his experience and talent, could fit right into that mold. And let's talk about the fit. Williams, playing behind Fitzpatrick and Elliott, wouldn't be pressed to be the primary playmaker immediately. Instead, he'd serve as a valuable rotational piece, someone who can step in during sub-packages, provide leadership, and help develop the younger safeties on the roster. The Steelers' defense has always prioritized versatility and intelligence at safety, and Williams checks those boxes. Plus, given his age and the recent struggles, he'd probably come at a reasonable price, which is a big plus for a team that's always balancing cap space and roster flexibility. The other aspect worth considering is that the Steelers have a lot riding on this season. They've been competitive in recent years, but haven't quite reached that Super Bowl stage again. The AFC North is a fierce division, with Baltimore, Cincinnati, and Cleveland all investing heavily to improve their rosters. The Ravens, for example, are rebuilding their secondary after some personnel changes and have been actively looking for upgrades. If Pittsburgh can add a player like Williams in free agency, even on a short-term deal, it could give them that extra edge needed in the secondary to make a real playoff push. And let's not forget the other side of the coin, player motivation. Williams, after a tough year, would be eager to prove himself again. The Steelers, with their culture of hard work and accountability, are an ideal environment for a player seeking redemption. The coaching staff's reputation for developing talent is well known across the league, and that could be an attractive factor for Williams. Plus, playing behind Minkah Fitzpatrick, who's considered one of the best safeties in the league, would be a great learning opportunity for him. It's the kind of situation that could help him regain his confidence and reestablish himself as a top-tier safety. Now, of course, there are some questions. Will the Steelers make a move for him? Will Williams be open to a short-term deal or a prove-it contract? And how will he fit into the team's long-term plans? Those are questions that only time will answer, but one thing is certain. Adding Marcus Williams would be a bold move that signals the Steelers' intent to contend seriously this year. It's a risk worth taking, especially considering their recent defensive performances and the need for improved play in the secondary. Before we wrap up, I want to remind you, Steelers fans, that the NFL offseason is always full of surprises, and this story is just one piece of the puzzle. The Steelers are constantly looking to upgrade, whether through free agency, trades, or the draft. The safety position, in particular, is one that could make or break their defensive success this year. With the right addition, the Steelers could solidify their back end and set themselves up for a deep playoff run. And remember, the team's recent history shows that they're not afraid to take calculated risks. Think about the signing of T.J. Watt, the draft picks of Najee Harris and Kenny Pickett, and how those moves have paid off. The Steelers have always been about building a tough, resilient identity, something that Marcus Williams could contribute to if given the chance. The potential signing of a player like him could be a swing factor in how the Steelers' defense performs during the crucial months of the upcoming season. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YOUTUBE algorithm to keep recommending the latest Pittsburgh Steelers news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. As for the fans, this is the kind of move that can energize the entire team and fan base. It shows that the Steelers are serious about contending, about getting back to that elite level they're known for. Whether or not the deal materializes, the rumors alone keep us on the edge of our seats. Everyone's watching to see what Kevin Colbert, now in his new role as a senior advisor, and the entire front office will do next. Their moves over the offseason have been strategic, and adding a player like Marcus Williams would be a statement of intent. Now, looking at the bigger picture, the AFC North is shaping up to be one of the most competitive divisions in the league once again. The Bengals, with Joe Burrow's rise, and the Ravens, with their new defensive schemes, are both gunning for supremacy. The Browns, with Deshaun Watson's potential resurgence, are also not to be underestimated. In this environment, every game matters, and having a reliable safety can be the difference-maker in tight matchups. The Steelers know this, which is why they're exploring options like Williams to ensure they're not left behind in what promises to be a fiercely fought division. The fact that Williams has had some recent struggles is not lost on anyone. But the NFL is a league where redemption stories are common, and players often bounce back stronger than ever. Look at how players like Richard Sherman or Patrick Peterson reinvented themselves after tough years. It's all about the right fit, the right coaching, and a bit of motivation. And with the Steelers' defensive mindset, Williams could find the perfect environment to regain his confidence and reassert his status as one of the league's top safeties. Plus, the financial aspect is worth mentioning. After a down year, Williams wouldn't command the same kind of contract he had in Baltimore. That makes him a cost-effective option for Pittsburgh, especially if they're looking to stay under the cap while still making impactful additions. The Steelers have shown in the past that they're willing to take chances on players with high upside, especially when they can do so without jeopardizing their salary structure. So, what's next? Well, fans, keep your eyes peeled. The Steelers' front office isn't known for rushing into decisions, but once they identify a target, they move quickly. If Williams is truly interested and the price is right, we could see a deal announced sooner rather than later. That would be a significant boost for the secondary, giving them a veteran presence and one more dynamic piece to their defensive puzzle. And hey, even if it doesn't happen, the fact that his name is being discussed shows how serious the Steelers are about upgrading that safety position. It's a clear sign that they're not content with just okay in the back end. They want to be dominant. The AFC North is shaping up to be an exciting division, and Pittsburgh wants to make sure they're at the forefront, ready to challenge all comers. So, Steelers fans, as we await more news, get ready for an exciting ride. The offseason is just heating up, and the moves being made now will set the tone for the season ahead. Whether it's through a signing, a trade, or a draft pick, one thing is clear: Pittsburgh is committed to building a team that can contend for another Super Bowl. And if they land Marcus Williams or someone like him, it could be the move that pushes them over the edge. And now, Pittsburgh Steelers fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential signing? Do you believe Williams can bounce back and be a game changer for the Steelers? Or do you think they should look elsewhere? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Pittsburgh Steelers news. Thanks for sticking with me, and as always, go Steelers!